Now, in Atlanta, the funeral has taken place of Rayshard Brooks, an African-American shot dead by police in a confrontation 2 weeks ago. His killing, following that of another black American, George Floyd, provoked weeks of protest by anti-racism campaigners. President Trump today called the protesters vandals and anarchists and promised to reinforce the law to protect statues and monuments. Our North America editor, John Sopel, has the latest.
Another funeral for a black man killed by a white police officer. The names and places may change, but the storyline is wearily familiar. Today in Atlanta, they're laying to rest Rayshard Brooks, shot in the back after he ran from police trying to arrest him on a drink driving offence.
If your skin is the weapon and your complexion is the crime, what do you do to stay alive? Comply like George Floyd or run like Rayshard Brooks? I'm not asking for a friend, I'm asking for myself.
The reverberations from this killing and that of George Floyd are still being felt across America as the Black Lives Matter movement tries to make this an inflection point in this country's long and tortuous battle for civil rights. There's urgent debate on police reform, and last night here in Washington there was fresh unrest. In Lafayette Park, just across from the White House, protesters tried to tear down a statue of Andrew Jackson, America's 7th president, and a slave owner who was responsible for the terrible mistreatment of Native Americans. Donald Trump, who installed a portrait of Jackson in the Oval Office when he became president, said this would not be tolerated.
We are looking at long-term jail sentences for these vandals and these hoodlums and these anarchists and agitators, and call them whatever you want. Some people don't like that language, but that's what they are.
Change is coming in sport too. NASCAR has finally removed Confederate flags from being flown after Bubba Wallace, the only black driver in the sport, called for them to be banned. But in his garage over the weekend, someone had left a noose. Change is not going to come without a backlash, but Wallace is undeterred.
You're not going to take away my smile, and I'm going to keep on going.
And his fellow drivers, in a show of solidarity, pushed his car to the front of the grid. Their life is racing and winning. Today, it was about race and equality. John Sopel, BBC News, Washington.